My girlfriend used my birthday to celebrate her male best friend. His name was on my cake. When I asked why, she smirked, "You're lucky I included you at all." I stopped the music and told the room the truth. She didn't finish the night with any of them. Hey Reddit, I thought I was in a real relationship. Turns out I was the cover story while my girlfriend and her best friend ran the show. Before I shut down my own birthday party, let me start from the beginning. I'm 31 years old, I restore vintage aircraft for private collectors, and I thought I had a decent handle on reading people. Spent the last 8 years working on everything from World War II fighters to luxury corporate jets. When you're responsible for making sure a 70-year-old plane doesn't fall out of the sky, you learn about precision and consequences. Turns out that doesn't translate to dealing with people. My name's Julian, and I met Cassidy at a charity fundraiser about 18 months ago. She works as a pharmaceutical sales rep. She's good with people, always looks put together, makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. We hit it off immediately. Within 2 months, we were official. She introduced me as her boyfriend, posted pictures of us together, brought me to family dinners. Her parents loved me. I was part of her life. Really part of it. Everything seemed solid. We had routines. Thursday dinners at an Italian place near her apartment. Saturday farmers market runs. Sunday afternoons where I'd work in my hangar while she did paperwork in the office. But there was always Griffin. Griffin was her best friend from college. 9 years of history. She talked about him constantly. Griffin said this. Griffin thinks that. Griffin wants to try this restaurant. At first, I thought it was normal. People have close friends. Except Griffin didn't act like just a friend. First time I met him at Cassidy's company happy hour, he walked straight past me, pulled her into a too-long hug, gave me a limp handshake, then turned back to her with inside jokes that excluded me. I watched her body language shift. She angled toward him, laughed louder, touched his arm. When I mentioned it later, she shut it down, said I was being weird about it. I let it go. Mistake number 1. Griffin had a key to her apartment from when they were roommates years ago. I didn't have one yet. He'd use that key to show up unannounced sometimes. The first time, we were having a candlelit dinner I'd made from scratch. Griffin walked in at 8 p.m., grabbed a plate, sat down between our 2 place settings. Cassidy handed him a fork. Like this was normal. He spent an hour talking the whole time about his divorce while I sat there invisible. When he left, I asked why she didn't tell him we were on a date. She said he needed someone to talk to. I suggested he could come back another time. She accused me of being inflexible. This became the pattern. He'd crash movie nights, text her at 2 a.m. while we were in bed together, call me Jules despite corrections. Thursday nights became his standing hangout at her place. I stopped showing up. Cassidy said I was being petty. The real boundary test came 4 months in. Group dinner at this gastropub downtown, 8 people total, all couples. Cassidy and I got there early, grabbed a spot at the big communal table they'd reserved. I went to the bathroom before everyone else arrived, came back to find Griffin sitting in my seat, the seat right next to Cassidy. My jacket was still on the back of the chair. He'd moved it to the chair at the end of the table. He had his arm stretched across the back of Cassidy's chair, leaning in close, whispering something that made her laugh. That real laugh, not the polite one. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, waiting to see what she'd do. Nothing. She saw me standing there, made eye contact, then looked back at Griffin, and continued their conversation. I walked to the end of the table, picked up my jacket, pulled over a chair from an adjacent table, and sat down next to some guy from Cassidy's work I'd met once. Griffin watched me do this, made deliberate eye contact, smirked. The whole dinner, he monopolized Cassidy's attention, ordered appetizers for the table without asking anyone, told stories that centered him and Cassidy, inside jokes that excluded everyone else. At one point, he literally fed her a bite of his entree from his fork. She laughed and let him. I sat at the end of the table making small talk with strangers, while my girlfriend let another man act like her date. When the check came, Griffin grabbed it. I got this round. You guys get the next one. Everyone thanked him, making himself look like the man in charge, like he was treating his friends, including me, instead of what it actually was, showing off. The ride home was silent for the first 10 minutes. Finally, I broke it. Handle your friend. What's that supposed to mean? He took my seat. You saw me standing there. You let him stay there for 2 hours. It's just a seat, Julian. You're being insecure. I'm not insecure. I'm watching you let another man sit in my spot, put his arm around your chair, feed you food, while I make small talk with strangers. She was quiet for a minute, then reached over and squeezed my hand, apologized, said Griffin didn't read social cues well, that he was just clingy because of the divorce, promised she'd talk to him, said it wouldn't happen again. I believed her, let it go. The next few weeks, she made an effort. In public, she was the perfect girlfriend. Texted Griffin less around me, moved away when he got too close. But I started noticing the private conversations. Once, her phone lit up while she was in the shower. Griffin's name. Preview. Don't worry about him. He'll get over it. Another time I overheard her on the phone. I know. He's just sensitive about boundaries. You didn't do anything wrong. She was playing both sides. Telling me she'd handle it, then telling him I was overreacting. At a friend's wedding 6 months in, Griffin gave a toast about Cassidy. How she'd been there through his worst breakup. How she was the most loyal person he knew. How any man would be lucky to have her. Everyone clapped. I sat there feeling like backup dancer at my own girlfriend's show. When I brought it up later, she called me jealous. He was being nice. Why do you have to make everything about you? A week after the gastropub confrontation, Cassidy showed up at my hangar unannounced. Rare for her. She didn't like the hangar, said it smelled like oil and old metal. She'd been thinking about what I said, about Griffin crossing boundaries. She wanted to prove I mattered, that I was important to her. Pulled out a key from her pocket, for her apartment, said she wanted me to have it. I took the key. It felt significant, like progress. She explained that Griffin's had his key forever, from when they were roommates, but me having one meant something different. She said it meant trust, that she was choosing me. I should have asked her to get Griffin's key back. Should have made that the condition. But I didn't want to push. Didn't want another accusation of being controlling. I thanked her, said it meant a lot. She kissed me, said she knew she hadn't handled things perfectly, but she was trying. Needed me to see that. I saw what I wanted to see. Thought the key meant I'd been upgraded. Didn't realize Griffin's key still worked, and he'd never be asked to give it back. My birthday was coming up in November. 8 months in, things escalated. Griffin started showing up everywhere. Cassidy's work events, our group hangouts, even a family barbecue where he walked in acting personally invited. Her dad greeted him like a son. Her mom asked Griffin's opinion before asking mine. Her sister made a comment about how weird it must be dating someone whose best friend was basically already her husband. She laughed. It wasn't funny. The worst came during a weekend trip to the mountains. Cassidy booked a cabin for her birthday weekend in October. Said it would be romantic, just the two of us. No phones, no work. I was excited. Took 3 days off work, arranged for my assistant to handle an urgent project, drove 4 hours up winding mountain roads, pulled up to the cabin around 3 p.m. Friday. Cassidy's car was already there. So was Griffin's truck. I sat in my car for a minute, staring at that truck, feeling my stomach drop. Walked inside to find Griffin unpacking groceries, Cassidy's sister and her boyfriend bringing in luggage. Cassidy came out of a bedroom, saw my face, started backtracking immediately, said she'd decided it would be more fun with the whole crew, that she likes having people around for birthdays. When I mentioned she'd said it would be just us, she asked me not to be like this. Griffin walked over, hand on my shoulder, welcomed me, said he'd brought steaks for the grill, talked about what he had planned for the weekend, what he had planned. At Cassidy's birthday weekend that she'd told me was supposed to be romantic. The cabin had 3 bedrooms. Griffin took the master without asking. Cassidy insisted we take the smaller guest room because Griffin needed space to spread out. Her sister and boyfriend got the medium room. That night, Griffin grilled, made a show of it, had everyone gather around, played chef. Cassidy stood next to him the whole time, handing him tools, laughing at his jokes, playing assistant. I sat on the deck with her sister's boyfriend making uncomfortable small talk about sports. Dinner was Griffin talking about his divorce for an hour. Cassidy rubbed his shoulder when he got emotional. I excused myself around 9, said I was tired from the drive. She barely acknowledged it, laid in that guest room bed listening to them laugh in the living room. Griffin's voice loud, running the show. Second night, I woke up around 2 a.m. Cassidy wasn't in bed. Found them on the back deck. Griffin in an Adirondack chair, Cassidy sitting on the armrest, her head on his shoulder, hand on his chest. Way too close. I opened the sliding door. They jumped apart like I'd caught them doing something guilty. We were just talking. Griffin was having a hard time sleeping. So he needed you at 2 in the morning. He's my best friend. I'm not going to ignore him when he needs support. Julian, don't make this weird. Go back to bed. I'll be there in a minute. I stood there looking at her until she got uncomfortable. She came back to the room a few minutes later, got under the covers, turned away from me, said I was being jealous and controlling, that this was exactly why she'd been worried about letting me in. I laid there staring at the ceiling for the next 3 hours while she fell asleep. Sunday morning, I told her we needed to talk privately about boundaries with Griffin. She said we'd talk when we got home, didn't want to ruin the weekend. We never talked when we got home. She had work stuff, was tired, it was too late, then Monday with early meetings. A week went by. 2 weeks. Whenever I tried to bring it up, she deflected. Said I was holding grudges, that I needed to let things go. Accused me of trying to control who she spent time with. That's what she did. Used therapy words. Whenever I raised a concern, I became controlling, insecure, jealous. "You're being toxic," she'd say. Real partners trust each other. I trusted her. I didn't trust him. But she'd make it sound like trusting her meant trusting him too. And suddenly, I was the bad guy for having standards. At month 10, Griffin started getting worse. We were at a group gathering at a bar downtown. Cassidy and I had been there for about an hour when Griffin showed up. Made his entrance loud, hugging everyone, buying shots, being the center of attention. When dinner was called, Griffin maneuvered himself next to Cassidy. I was on one side, he was on the other. Throughout dinner, he'd lean across her to talk to me, physically cutting into her space. He'd order appetizers without asking, reach across Cassidy to grab the menu from my hands. Reference their last visit to this restaurant, without me. When the entrees came, Griffin started eating off Cassidy's plate, just reached over with his fork, took bites of her food. She laughed, didn't tell him to stop. After dinner, we moved to the bar area. I went to get drinks. When I came back, Griffin had his arm around Cassidy's waist. Not shoulder, waist, his hand right above her hip. She was leaning into him slightly, laughing at something he'd said. I set the drinks down, looked directly at Griffin. "Move." His smirk dropped. He looked at Cassidy, expecting her to defend him. "Julian, come on! Move!" He stepped back, hands up in mock surrender. Mumbled something about me being territorial. Grabbed his drink and walked to the other end of the bar, shaking his head. Cassidy immediately pulled me toward the hallway, away from the group, told me I'd embarrassed her in front of everyone. I pointed out he'd had his hand on her waist. She said, "So what? Friends touch each other." I said, "Not like that when you have a boyfriend standing right there." She accused me of being a caveman, of making everything awkward. Said I was making scenes, embarrassing her, that she was starting to regret introducing me to people. That one hit different. I asked if she really regretted introducing me. She backtracked, said she just meant I needed to be less reactive, more mature. She pulled out her phone, started typing while I was mid-sentence. She was texting him, apologizing for my behavior. I finished my drink and left, texted her from the car that I was heading home. She didn't respond for 3 hours. When she finally did, "You really ruined tonight. I had to spend the whole time explaining your behavior to people, not asking if I was okay, not acknowledging why I left, just upset that I'd made her look bad." I set a clear boundary, told her Griffin needed to respect our relationship or couldn't be around us as much. She agreed, said she understood. For about 2 weeks, things improved. Then gradually, slowly, he crept back in. My birthday was coming up in November. I mentioned wanting something low-key. Dinner with close friends, maybe the aviation museum exhibit I'd been wanting to see. Cassidy got excited, said she wanted to throw me a real party, something special. I told her I didn't need anything big. She insisted, said she'd handle everything, I should just show up and enjoy. Something felt off about how excited she was. Not excited for me, excited about the party itself. I mentioned Griffin shouldn't be involved. She agreed immediately, too immediately. The week before my birthday felt off. Cassidy was on her phone constantly, texting, calling, coordinating something she wouldn't let me see. Whenever I walked into a room, she'd flip her phone over. "It's a surprise! Stop trying to ruin it." But nothing suggested she was planning something for me. She seemed stressed, annoyed when I asked basic question. "Just be at the Watershed at 7 on Friday." That's literally all you need to know. The Watershed was this event space downtown. $875 minimum just for the venue. I joked once it better be worth it. Cassidy loved it. Tuesday, I came home early, found Cassidy on a video call, bedroom door closed. I could hear her through it talking about not putting his name on anything visible because he'd see it when he walked in. I opened the door. She ended the call immediately. Claimed it was just venue stuff when I asked. When I asked why my name couldn't be visible, she got annoyed, said it was a surprise element, asked why I had to question everything. Wednesday morning, her phone buzzed on the counter. Text from Griffin. "Can't wait for Friday. This is going to be perfect." I stared at that message. Griffin was excited about my birthday party. Griffin, who I'd specifically said shouldn't be involved. Wednesday night, I got a text from my friend Cameron. We'd met in college, both engineering majors. Stayed close over the years. "Hey man, weird question. Is Griffin going through something?" Cassidy added me to the party planning chat and made it sound like this celebration is really important for him. I read that 3 times. Called Cameron immediately. He explained that Cassidy had added about 15 people to a group chat. Said it was a big celebration, that Griffin really needed the support this year, that my birthday was perfect timing to make it special. Cameron sent me the screenshot. Group chat called Party Planning, November 22nd. Cassidy's message, "So excited to bring everyone together to celebrate someone who's been through so much this year. Griffin really needs to feel the love from his people. Julian's birthday is perfect timing to make it special." I saved that screenshot. Knew I'd need it. When Cassidy got home, I was sitting in the living room. Is Griffin coming to this party? Her face changed, guilt for a second, then defiance. Why are you obsessing over Griffin? This is your night. That's not an answer. He might stop by. I can't control who shows up. I showed her the screenshot from Cameron, her telling the planning chat this party was really for Griffin. That my birthday was just convenient timing. She went pale, asked who told me. I asked if it mattered, pointed out that she'd lied. She said she didn't lie, that she was trying to do something nice for both of us. Griffin was going through hell with his divorce and job loss. She thought she could combine them. I told her my birthday party wasn't efficient. She accused me of being selfish, said this was exactly the toxic behavior she'd been talking about. I stood up, said I was going to the hangar. When I got back, she needed to decide if this party was for me or for him, because it couldn't be both. She didn't answer. Friday morning, I woke up to her text. Can't wait for tonight. You're going to love it. The pit in my stomach wouldn't go away. I left work at 6, parked a block away from the watershed, walked past the entrance, looked through the windows. The space was set up. Decorations, tables, a banner I couldn't read clearly. People inside organizing. At 6:45, Griffin showed up, not as a guest, carrying a box, walking in like setup crew. I waited until 7 exactly, then I walked in. I walked into the watershed at 7 exactly. The space was packed, had to be 30, maybe 40 people. Music playing from a DJ set up in the corner, people laughing with drinks in hand, full party mode. The venue itself was nice, I'd give Cassidy that. High ceilings, exposed brick walls, that expensive warehouse look. The decorations were generic, balloons in silver and black, streamers, basic party store inventory. Nothing personal, nothing suggesting this party was tailored to who I am. The kind of setup you'd get if you just told a party planner, make it look festive, without giving them any actual information about the person being celebrated. But there were photos everywhere of Cassidy and Griffin. Framed pictures scattered across cocktail tables throughout the room. A whole wall display near the bar showing them at various events over the years. Vacations to tropical beaches I'd never been to with her. Weddings where they were clearly each other's plus ones. Concerts, music festivals, birthday parties. In every single photo they looked close. Like people who'd known each other forever. Arms around each other, heads touching, laughing at inside jokes. They looked like a couple. The banner over the main table said, "Celebrating new beginnings," not "Happy birthday, Julian," just new beginnings. Near the entrance was a memory board. Note cards pinned up with messages. I walked closer, read them. So proud of how far you've come. You deserve this fresh start. Can't wait to see what's next for you. None of them mentioned my name. None referenced a birthday. I stood there taking it in. Cassidy spotted me, rushed over with a huge smile. "You're here. What do you think? Interesting decorations?" Her smile faltered. "What do you mean? Where's my name?" "It's implied. Everyone knows it's your birthday." She said it like she'd already decided I'd swallow it. I looked around. Half these people I'd never met. Cassidy's pharmaceutical colleagues from other regions. People from her gym. Distant cousins. Based on the decorations and signage, they'd have no idea whose birthday this actually was. Griffin appeared next to her, drink in hand, way too comfortable. He was wearing a blazer I'd never seen before, hair freshly cut, the kind of effort you make when you're the guest of honor. "Jules, happy birthday, man." He went in for a hug. I didn't move. Cassidy grabbed my hand. "Come on, people want to say hi." She pulled me around the room, introducing me to people. Her pharmaceutical colleagues, her gym friends, some distant cousins I'd met maybe once. Everyone was polite, but the energy was off. They'd say happy birthday like they were just being polite, then immediately shift to asking Cassidy how she'd been, whether she was excited about the celebration, how long she'd been planning this event. Not one person asked me about my work or my life or anything personal. I was just the excuse to throw the party. I noticed Griffin working the room separately. People greeted him like he was the host. Lots of hugs, lots of "so good to see you" energy. At 7:30, the DJ cut the music. Cassidy grabbed the microphone. "Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming tonight." She was looking at Griffin when she said it. "This year has been really challenging for some of us, but it's also been about growth and realizing what really matters. So tonight, we're celebrating someone who's been through so much and come out stronger." I was standing off to the side, watching. She still hadn't said my name. This person has shown me what real friendship looks like, what loyalty means, what it means to show up when things get hard. Griffin had tears in his eyes. People were nodding, some wiping their own eyes. "So before we cut the cake, I just want to say, Griffin, I'm so proud of you." The room erupted in applause. "Griffin, my birthday party." She was talking about Griffin. He walked up, hugged Cassidy long and tight. People were cheering. Someone started chanting his name. He took the microphone. Thank you, Cass. You have no idea what this means. This year has been rough. The divorce, losing my job. But you've been there every single day. You're the one person I can count on. More applause. He was crying. I honestly don't think I'd be here without you. Cassidy was crying too. They were holding hands. Griffin turned to someone near the kitchen, made a rolling motion with his hand. Bring it out, he called, like he was directing the whole event. Someone wheeled out the cake. Large white cake with elaborate decoration. When they got close enough for me to see the writing, "Congratulations, Griffin. New beginnings." Not my name. His name. Cameron was next to me. Saw it the same time I did. Bro, what the... People started noticing. Confused looks. Someone said, "Wait, isn't this Julian's birthday?" Cassidy's face went white. She looked at me, then at the cake, then back at me. Griffin was still smiling, oblivious, soaking up attention. I walked to the DJ booth, found the power strip, unplugged it. The music died. The room went silent. Everyone looked at me. I walked to the middle of the room, stood next to the cake with Griffin's name. For anyone confused, today is my birthday, November 22nd. I'm 31. People stared at Cassidy, shocked expressions, but somewhere in the planning it became about Griffin, his name on the cake, his speech, his moment. I looked at Cassidy. You used my birthday as cover. Julian, let me explain. No, she stopped. I pulled out my phone, showed the screenshot from the planning chat. This is from the party chat. You told guests this was really for Griffin, that my birthday was just convenient timing. Dead silence. Enjoy the party, eat the cake with Griffin's name, celebrate whatever this is. I looked at Cassidy. We're done. Please, not here. Especially here. You disrespected me in public. You don't get to fix this in private. I pulled out my keys, removed her apartment key, set it on the table next to the cake. Don't contact me. I walked out. Cameron followed immediately. Couple other friends too. Outside, someone was filming. Holy shit, did you get that? Good. Let it be documented. I drove straight to Cassidy's apartment. Still had my copy of her key for emergencies. This was my final emergency. Spent an hour collecting my things. Clothes, toiletries, books, the knife set. Put it all in boxes. Left everything of hers on the counter. The sweatshirt of mine she always wore. The $90 wine I'd been saving for our anniversary. Wrote one note. Your key is with the doorman. Don't contact me. Changed her contact name to blocked. Blocked her everywhere. Phone, social media, email filters. Got home around 10:30. Phone blowing up. I sent one group message. I'm good. Don't relay messages from Cassidy. I'm not discussing it. No sides needed. Muted the chat for 48 hours. Poured bourbon. Sat in silence. No Cassidy, no Griffin. No managing anyone's feelings. Felt like I could breathe again. Around 11, doorbell rang. Ring camera showed Griffin. I spoke through the system. Leave. Let's talk man to man. There's nothing to talk about. Leave. He tried the sympathy angle. Said Cassidy was a mess. Crying. Couldn't eat. That I'd really hurt her. I almost laughed. Pointed out that I'd hurt her at my birthday party with another man's name on the cake. He said it was a misunderstanding. That I was blowing it out of proportion. I told him once calmly that he'd spent a year and a half testing boundaries, showing up uninvited, taking my seat, putting his hands on my girlfriend, every move trying to prove something. I told him he failed, that I'd never been competing with him. I just expected basic respect in my own relationship. Neither of them could provide it. I said if he showed up again, I'd call the police and file a trespassing report. He stood there another minute on camera, trying to think of some comeback. Finally left. Got in his truck. Sat there a few minutes, probably calling Cassidy, then drove away. I poured another bourbon. Sat back down. Silence felt good. Saturday, I canceled everything. Removed her from my emergency contacts. Changed every shared subscription password. Netflix first, then the rest. Removed her access, updated payment methods. Found the receipt for the party venue buried in my email. Cassidy had somehow gotten my credit card information and charged the full amount. $875 for a party, celebrating another man at my birthday. The audacity actually made me laugh. I called the venue first thing Saturday morning. Explained the situation to the manager. She was sympathetic, but said refunds weren't their policy. I thanked her and hung up. Called my credit card company next. Initiated a chargeback. The customer service rep asked for documentation. I sent the screenshots from the planning chat showing Cassidy had deceived me about what the party was actually for. Sent the photo someone had taken of the cake with Griffin's name. Sent the text exchange where she'd refused to confirm whether Griffin was involved. The bank rep actually paused after reviewing everything. Said it was one of the more justified chargebacks she'd processed in her 5 years doing the job. Case approved within 48 hours. Sunday morning, text from Cassidy's sister. You really embarrassed her in front of everyone. Her career is in that room. You could have handled it privately. I responded once. She could have not thrown a party for another man on my birthday. Block me or don't, but I'm done explaining myself. By Sunday afternoon, screenshots were circulating. Someone had filmed the cake reveal, my speech, me walking out, posted it with the caption, "When you find out your birthday party isn't actually for you." It went semi-viral within hours. Thousands of shares. The comment section was brutal. People calling out the cake, the photos of Griffin everywhere, her speech that never mentioned my name. The video got picked up by relationship drama accounts with millions of followers. Cassidy's face visible in every frame. Monday, I dropped her stuff with the doorman. Didn't go upstairs. That afternoon, Griffin posted on social media, "Some people can't handle seeing others get support during hard times. Real men lift each other up instead of tearing people down over misunderstandings." I screenshot it and posted it in the mutual friend group with one sentence, "If anyone's still confused about what happened." The friend group went cold on both of them. People started declining invitations. Wednesday, 1 week later, I got an email from a lawyer, Cassidy's lawyer. She wanted the chargeback reversed. Claimed I'd verbally agreed to pay for the party. I forwarded it to my lawyer with full context and screenshots. His response, "Let her try. This won't go anywhere." It didn't. By week 2, I'd fully moved on. Changed my locks even though she'd given me her key back. Updated everything. Organized my space like I was single again. The weird thing was how much lighter I felt. 3 weeks after the party, shit started catching up to them. Cassidy's pharmaceutical company held their annual holiday gala. She brought Griffin as her date. He showed up half drunk in an ill-fitting suit. Someone recognized him from the viral video. Within 30 minutes, people were whispering. Her supervisor pulled her aside, suggested she bring more appropriate +1s to company events. Griffin got loud at the bar, made jokes about being the real man in Cassidy's life. Security escorted him out. Her boss watched it all happen. Monday, HR called her in about professional boundaries. Their social media became desperate. Vague posts about fake friends and real ones. The mutual friend group went cold. Plans got made in chats that didn't include them. Cameron told me Cassidy tried hosting a holiday party. 20 invitations sent. 3 people showed up. Stayed an hour. She spent it trying to reframe the birthday party as a misunderstanding. Cameron's girlfriend shut it down. "We all saw the video. We all saw his name on the cake." Griffin's custody battle got worse when his ex-wife's lawyer used his social media posts as evidence. He started blaming Cassidy online. They were turning on each other. By December, Cassidy was texting mutual friends, asking them to relay messages. Everyone told her to respect no contact. She tried calling from different numbers. I blocked them all. She sent a letter to my hangar. My assistant asked if I wanted it. I said shred it. January, Cassidy's sister got engaged, called to invite me to the party. I asked if Cassidy and Griffin would be there. When she said yes, I declined. Sent a gift instead. Heard later, Cassidy spent the event crying in the bathroom. Griffin got drunk and hit on a bridesmaid. They both left early after someone confronted Griffin. The family was mortified. February, I ran into Cassidy's mom at a coffee shop. "Julian, good to see you." "You too, Mrs. Patterson. I want you to know, we didn't know what she was planning. If we'd known, we would have stopped her." "I appreciate that. She's not doing well. Griffin's not a good influence. Now she's stuck with him and everyone else has walked away. That was her choice." "I know. I just wanted you to know we're sorry. You deserved better." March was when it all fell apart publicly. Cassidy and Griffin got into a screaming match at a wedding. Something about Griffin flirting and Cassidy accusing him of abandoning her when she needed support. Security removed them both. The bride was furious. Cameron sent me the video. Cassidy looked terrible. Hair a mess, makeup smeared, screaming at Griffin in the parking lot while he laughed. "This is what you threw away a good man for?" someone off camera said. She had no response. By April, I'd moved on. Met someone at an aviation museum fundraiser, museum curator. Smart, straightforward, had her shit together. 3 dates in, she asked where I saw things going. "I like you. I'd like to keep seeing you. Exclusively if you're interested." "I'm interested." That easy. No games, no competing with a best friend. Cassidy and Griffin officially became a couple. Relationship status changed, photos together. Everyone had the same reaction. That's what we figured was happening anyway. They lasted 6 weeks. Broke up dramatically. Griffin posted that Cassidy was too needy and couldn't respect boundary. Neither of them saw the irony. But I wasn't paying attention anymore. A year after the birthday party, I was having dinner with the curator I'd been seeing, celebrating her promotion. She'd spent 20 minutes telling me about her plans for a new aviation history exhibit. Actually interested in my work, treating me like a partner. This is what it's supposed to feel like. No competing with a best friend. No managing someone else's insecurity while mine gets ignored. Just mutual respect, and someone excited to build something with me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Preview. Julian, we need to talk. Meet me at the watershed tomorrow at 7. I'll be there whether you show up or not. See. I stared at that message for about 3 seconds. Then I blocked the number. Deleted the message. Didn't respond. She noticed. Everything okay? Yeah. Just spam. She went back to talking about the exhibit. I went back to listening. The next evening at 7, I was at home, working on a restoration project in my garage. 1944 engine rebuild. Detail work that needed full attention. My phone stayed silent. Cassidy sat at the watershed waiting. Alone. Some people think you owe them closure. That you'll fix what they broke just so they can feel better. Not happening. 2 days later, I got an email. New address, bypassed my filters. Subject. I know you said not to contact me, but I need you to understand. I read the first line. Stopped. Blocked the address. Set up a more aggressive filter. I'm 32 now. Dating someone who actually wants to be with me. My restoration business is thriving. Just finished a 1944 P-51 Mustang going to an air show next month. Life is good. Sometimes I see Cassidy's social media through mutual friends posts. She's dating someone new. Some guy who looks uncomfortable in every photo. Long captions about growth and learning from mistakes and choosing yourself. All that fake self-awareness bullshit. Griffin moved to a different city. Custody situation didn't go well? No idea what he's doing. Don't care. The mutual friend group moved on. Nobody talks about the birthday party unless someone new joins and asks. Then it gets retold like legend. You had to be there, but basically this dude showed up to his birthday party and his girlfriend had put another man's name on the cake. No way. He unplugged the DJ, gave a 30-second speech, walked out. That's cold. That's standards. Last month I ran into Cassidy's sister. She's married now. Seemed happy. How are you doing? She asked. Really good. I'm glad. You deserved better than what my sister put you through. I appreciate that. For what it's worth, she talks about you all the time. Tells people you were the one that got away. I wasn't the one that got away. I was the one that left. We talked a few more minutes, then parted ways. My girlfriend asked about it later. Was that weird? Not really. Ancient history. Do you ever regret walking away? From someone who put another man's name on my birthday cake? Not even once. She laughed. Fair point. 2 weeks ago, Griffin tried one last time. Unknown number. Text preview. Julian, it's Griffin. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to reach out man to man and clear the air. Blocked. Deleted. Kept working on the engine My girlfriend came into the garage. Dinner's ready. Be right there. She kissed my temple, headed back inside. I finished tightening the last bolt, cleaned my hands, and followed her in. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.